Holy cow!
And there he goes! It's time to step across the line with James Collier as he takes you inside the octagon of sports. With the latest from the world of sports, with scores, interviews, and the hardest-hitting analysis in the business. Let's step into the octagon of sports.
Let's go!
With your host, James Collier.
And a pleasant good morning, as very weary-eyed. It was about 1:30, almost 2, when we got back home last night from a trip down to Hazard, as the Racing Rams made the long trip down US 23 and the Cross 80 over to Hazard, and a hearty win by the Rams last night, 35-14. We'll take a look at all the scores here in just a few moments. But, yeah, it's daylight and darkness and everything just kind of running together this morning. So bear with me if I sound like I'm a little groggy, because I am. I've been up maybe about 30 minutes or so trying to get ready for this morning's show. But we're going to talk to head coach for these Carter Raiders, Tim Champlin, on the other side of the break. He'll go inside the octagon. Nice win for his Raiders last night over Bath County. Landon Yoke, this young man is a phenomenal athlete. He surpassed 4,000 rushing yards last night in his career and scored his 56th touchdown on the ground. So we'll talk about that. The Raiders, a tough start to the season against Belfry, and then they've done nothing but win. And I think you've got to look at them as being the favorite in that district. They're in Class 3A. So, but we'll look at their schedule as they come up. They've got a big one at the end of the season as Raceland makes the trip over to Grayson. That one should be a phenomenal game to finish out the regular season for both of those two teams on Halloween night there at Steve Womack Field. Major League Baseball divisional round gets going later on this afternoon. We'll take a look at all four of the games in their first round matchups. Plenty of top 25 action today. The Cats are down at Georgia. They'll kick off at 12 today. And that's the reason I'm going at 9, not at 10 this morning, because countdown to kickoff coverage begins at 10 o'clock. You can listen to it right here on Hank FM 105.7. And then NFL, one game in the book already. A really good one on Thursday night. The San Francisco 49ers in overtime in L.A. defeat the Rams 26-23. So we'll look at games coming up this weekend and kind of take a look at the standings a little bit, just to kind of see where we are through this first part of the season, maybe a third of the way through this, a quarter of the way through the season, I should say, and kind of see who's making some notes or to say the least, making some shockwaves. But certainly several teams that are going the wrong direction of what most thought that they would have done this season. And, of course, the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the week coming up a little bit later on. All right, scores around the area last night. Boyd County, no trouble with Greenup County, 49-7. The Lions roll at home. They've got the Battle for the Barrel coming up with Ashland this Friday night in a key district matchup in that district. And we'll have all the action right here for you on Hank FM, as well as on Kool TV for the live video stream. Ashland routs Rowan County 54-0. Raceland over Hazard 35-14. Fleming County blanks Lewis County 43-0. East Carter over Bath 41-6. It was Corbin coming back from down 22-7 to tie the game at 34 with Johnson Central, but the Golden Eagles would get a walk-off field goal and win at 37-34. Nicholas County, no problem with Fairview 40-8, and it was Lawrence County pulling away from Mason County late 41-13. All right, we'll step out for our first break. When we come back, we'll talk with head coach Tim Champlin for these Carter Raiders. That's as we continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkeley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hungry for flavor that hits the spot? Red's Place in the Meade Station Plaza has been serving Ashland for 7 years, and they're just getting started. From fan-favorite stuffed mushrooms to hand-patty burgers like the Red's Loaded Burger to jumbo wings tossed in your choice of 20 sauces. You'll taste the difference every time. At Red's Place, it's more than great food. It's personalized service that makes you feel right at home. Red's Place, 8130 Route 60 in Ashland. Find them on Facebook and taste the tradition.
This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. Let's go inside the Octagon. Joining us now is the head coach for the East Carter Raiders, Tim Champlin. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning to you all. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, thanks for joining us this morning. A nice win last night for your team, and I was talking in the other side of the break before I brought you in. A tough game against Belfry to start things off, and I think a lot of teams are going to have tough games against Belfry this year because they're really stinking good. But you guys have put together a nice winning streak, and you get back after the battle for the barrel game with West Carter, which is always an anomaly in itself. You took care of business there, but a nice district win last night over Bath.
Yeah, it was. It was nice to get started off in the district with a win. That's the path you want to start out on and stay on. And so kind of had a rocky start there, rough start to get going, but found our way there in the second half and took care of business. Thought we dialed in and played a lot better there. Like you said, open up with Belfry. That was we thought that was key for us to see where we were, to show our kids that level of competition and let them see that. And so that's the speed of which we want to play the game and the physicality of which we want to play the game. And so we've been trying to match that ever since.
When you look at a game like that, when you put yourself in a hostile environment, even at your home field, when you bring in a Belfry Pirates team, how much, especially like you said there at the very beginning of the season, how much did that allow you to really maybe adjust that goal board that you guys have of saying, okay, guys, here's where we're trying to get, and here's the hurdles that we found tonight that we have to fix to get to that point?
Yeah, it's real crucial because they're a good football team. They're going to show you where you're weak. They're going to show you your mistakes and that kind of thing. And so it doesn't give you any kind of false sense of hope or false sense of credibility or anything like that. They're going to show you pretty quickly where you're at, who you are, and what you need to fix. And so that was good for us. We felt like coming out of our scrimmages, there were some holes or some things that we needed to work on, and Belfry kind of reiterated those. We also felt like we had a pretty good running game, and were able to run for 200 plus or almost 300 yards of offense against them, and so that made us feel like we did have a good rushing attack. So that's something that we could lean on and do. Now it's just get better and try to put those things together.
Coming into the season with so many losses to graduation, you had a big graduating class last year, and you lost a lot of key pieces. Did you have those holes that you knew that you had, and did you expect to be where you are at this point of the season so quickly?
Well, we felt like we had some kids coming up, that could play. We felt like we had some guys that could step into those roles. You're never going to replace a senior with a sophomore or junior and get that same level of play immediately, but we feel like we're getting there. We feel like our kids are rising to that, to those abilities and stepping up and playing big for us.
One of the biggest games, I think, of your season was your first road game, and you went into a hostile environment, a really good atmosphere over in Cannonsburg against Boyd County. You get out of there 34-20 on a crazy night, first off, with all the lightning, the rain, the delays and stuff. How did you like the approach with your team? Because, again, not only just the physicality of that type of a game, but the mental anguish it puts on you of the start, stop type of stuff, and you guys get out of there with a nice win.
Yeah, I've told a lot of people I thought that was a great quality win for our program. Boyd County is a great football team. And we've seen that over the last couple of weeks how they played. But I was really proud of our kids, the way they handled themselves, like you said, not only with the hostile environment and that kind of thing, but the physicality at which they played, and then being able to refocus, regroup each time after a break, start and stop and keep playing. And so really proud of our kids with how they handled themselves in that situation. Showed a lot of maturity for a team that's only got 7 seniors. That was a big question mark for us coming into this year, was our maturity and that kind of thing. And I thought we really played well and showed great maturity in that game.
In that concept, Coach, the start, stop, how big was it you guys started off the way you did and got the early lead?
It was great. It was huge. I felt like we made them play from behind, and made them do things that made them kind of one-dimensional. I'm not going to say they did something they're not good at, because they're really good at running it and throwing it, but we kind of made them have to chase us. And so it allowed us to be a little more free on defense and also on offense. We could take our time. We weren't chasing the clock. We had the clock in our favor and all that kind of stuff.
Now, the following week, you go to Greenup County, get yourself in a shootout with the Musketeers, and that seems like anytime those two teams get together, it's a high-scoring affair. But
yeah.
It was one of those deals of you guys got an early start, got out rolling, and then made Greenup County have to chase you again.
Yeah, it was, and that game, I felt like we, one our big focus coming out of that game, going into the West Carter game, was focus and execute. I felt like coming off of a big win at Boyd County, we were riding that high and kind of looking ahead to the Barrel game. You know how big that is in the county, and so I didn't feel like we executed and focused to our best ability, and so. I thought we did better with that the next week against West Carter. But again, it's like I told our kids, winning is hard. Winning consistently and all the time is really, really hard. You're going to have games where things just don't go your way. And to be able to come out with a win in that situation was really good.
And again, with that Greenup County game, that was a total trap game for you guys, coming off the big win over Boyd and then looking ahead to the Barrel game the next weekend. And you guys really rose to the occasion.
Yeah, we did. I thought our kids rose up. I thought they played really well. Again, they didn't play really well, but they played well enough to win. Greenup's a good football team. I think Coach Jones does a really good job down there, and so he had those kids. They always play really, really well against us, fired up, and so I thought they did a good job, and I thought our kids rose to the occasion and found a way to go get a win on the road, in like you said, in a trap game kind of scenario situation. So really happy to get out of there with a win.
Now, right in the middle of the season, right before you go into your bye week and into district play, you get the Battle for the Barrel game with West Carter, and you guys take care of business there. But for this group, keeping that Barrel in Grayson, that's been huge, and it's something they've done very well.
Yeah, they have. It's 4 years in a row. First time in my tenure that we've been able to pull that off, and I was really happy for these seniors and how they played and their execution and focus. They went out, took care of business. They wanted to keep that, and it's a bragging right game. It's all of those rivalry concepts, and so I got to do Fired Up Friday there before that morning, and thought our kids handled all of it really well. Got to be teenagers, got to enjoy that, but we're able to focus and regroup and execute there during the game.
Coach, let's talk at some of the players in your team this year, and it's no secret of who your dude is. He wears number 20, Landon Yoke, and what a phenomenal athlete this young man has been. But surpassing 4,000 career rushing yards last night. He's got 56 total rushing touchdowns in his career. This season, he's already over 1,000 yards rushing, and just a very bullish type back that can do so many things, power, but he also has the speed on the back end as well.
Yeah, yes, he does. He's been a pleasure to coach. He's a great kid and just a hard worker, man. And good leader, kind of drags people along to play to his ability, up to his level. There's no playing down. And like I said, I think Landon's done a really good job this year. He's always been a really physical back, downhill, hard runner, hard to tackle. But this year, I think he's added kind of that extra element, that speed dynamic, and he's been able to hit a few cutbacks and have some explosive runs and get out on the edge and really take off. So, think that he's done a great job with that. But like I said, he's their dude. Everybody knows that. He's school's leading rusher now. He 56 touchdowns in his career. He's having an unbelievable year, and he's their bell cow, and he's their kid that they're going to give the rock to.
You look at the list of players that he's followed in the footsteps of, and it's no secret, it has been a running back stable that has gone through Charlie Terry, Isaac Boggs, now Landon. I mean, it's a crew of running backs that it's just like each year when one moves on, the next one picks up the rock and just keeps right on moving.
Yeah. We've been very fortunate in that situation of having graduating a great back in Charlie Terry and kind of not knowing what we were going to do. Isaac Boggs steps up, takes the lead. Graduate Isaac, unsure where we're going to go, and Landon steps up and takes the rock and kind of goes from there. And so those three kids, all great running backs, all great kids, and been a pleasure to coach. Hopefully we can continue the line of succession here.
Deshaun Beason, another kid in the backfield for you guys, a senior. They kind of give you another like a 1-2 punch. But how much does he, maybe just in limited roles that he does, help take a little bit of the pressure off Landon when you guys need it?
Yeah, he does. Like, we can kind of tell, like, all right, all eyes are getting on Landon. Everybody, you're starting to get, 7, 8, 9 hats to Landon, and it's time to use Deshaun on a counter or get Deshaun going in the other direction. And when you're not expecting it, when you're least expecting it, he kind of is that kid that can burn you and can go get one. And so, he's a kind of a unsung hero, so to speak. He's never his stats aren't, crazy. He's going to be in the 75-yard range somewhere, but they're going to be 75 yards that really hurt you. And so, great blocking back. He does, he kind of is he's our hype guy, and defensively, man, he is a force to be reckoned with. He does a phenomenal job on our defense. And taking care of stuff over there.
You look at your quarterback position, you graduate Quentin Johnson, and I can remember watching Quentin as he took over youthfully and turned into a very good senior leader quarterback for you guys. But now you move on in the graduation. You've got sophomore Thomas Burton there, who just kind of has to manage the game with what you guys want to do. Again, it's no secret. You guys are going to run the football a majority of the time, but he's also got the ability to push it downfield.
He does. He's got a big, strong arm. Been able to connect on a few deep balls, but his key has been able to run when people hurt it, when people give us pressure, and adds another element to the running game. You start getting quarterback design run stuff, and now you're 11 on 11, and every fitter counts. And so, being able to get that stuff and get him in the running game is another kind of thing to help Yoke take eyes off Yoke, and also in the passing game, just being able to stand up, throw the bubble, throw the hitch, throw the slant, kind of force people to back out of the box and widen out. And when you've got athletes like we do out wide, Grant Meanix, Caleb Hall, Chase McGuffin, Kel Cunder, those kids are, if you get too tight on them and they break a tackle, they got a chance to go to the house as well. And so that's something we've been trying to really focus on is getting the ball out quick, and getting it to those guys in space and letting them make some plays as well.
Back home this week, Fleming County in a key district matchup. And again, it's no secret. I think a lot of people would agree this district will come down to you and Russell. But again, this is a game that you have to make certain doesn't turn into a trap game, trying to look ahead for 2 weeks when you put that matchup with Russell over in Flatwoods.
Yeah, it's this is the game that's all up. This is where our focus is. We want to put ourselves in a situation to play Russell for a district championship, but to do that, you've got to take care of business this week, and so that's where our focus is going to be. I think Coach Spencer and them do a great job down there. Southern County's going to come in fired up, ready to play. They always play us really, really well, and so we're gonna get ready to get ready to rock and roll, and put our best foot forward, go out, try to take care of business, and put ourselves, like you said, in a situation to be able to play for a district championship in a couple weeks.
Last game of the season, you get Raceland at home on Halloween night, and this is a game that you guys haven't played since 2015. It had been a long-standing series, and then kind of had to get shifted around because of all the district realignments and stuff, but getting a chance to bring a team in Raceland, how big is that for you guys of getting ready to go into postseason?
Yeah, it's just kind of the same concept with Belfry. At the beginning of the year, they're going to show you your weaknesses. They're going to prepare you and get you ready for the season. And the same thing with Raceland coming in. It's a championship level program, play for numerous state championships, and so they're going to test us. They're going to show us where we need to be going into playoffs. They're going to prep us and prepare us for some things that we haven't seen that we need to be prepared to see in the playoffs to be able to win those games that matter in November.
Coach Tim Champlin for the East Carter Raiders. Coach, always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you at the end of the month, and best of luck. We'll talk to you then.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on, and as always, go Raiders.
Take care. All right, we'll step out for a break. When we come back, we will dive into Major League Baseball. We've got the divisional round that gets going later today. 4 good games on tap. A lot of college football as well, and NFL tomorrow. We'll break it all down as we continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkeley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey everyone, I'm the voice of the Lions, Greg Preston, inviting you to join us all season long as we bring you all the action of Boyd County Lions football.
It's the annual battle for bragging rights as Boyd County plays host to Ashland Paul Blazer. 7 p.m. airtime this Friday night.
Presented by
First National Bank,
Primary Plus Healthcare,
Members Choice Credit Union,
Clark's Pump and Shops,
Borders Sporting Goods,
Ashland Community and Technical College,
Kentucky Farmers Bank,
Tri-State Ophthalmology,
Boyd County Attorney Curtis Dodson,
Kurt Robinson State Farm Insurance,
and by Boyd County Clerk Kevin Johnston.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Hank FM weather.
Your Tri-State weather forecast is brought to you by Perry Distributing in Ironton and Ashland, proud distributors of Budweiser and Bud Light.
This morning, we'll see some areas of dense fog possible before mid-morning, then followed by plenty of sunshine throughout the day with afternoon highs reaching 86. For tonight, it'll remain clear with lows around 53. And for Sunday, it'll stay sunny with afternoon highs reaching 86.
Sports scores, interviews, and more. This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLDC.
Back inside the Octagon on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network as we head into Major League Baseball in the divisional round. First, a big thanks to Tim Champlin from East Carter Football on the other side of the break for stepping inside the octagon, talking some East Carter football. So the wild card round finishes, and we have a first in the wild card round. And again, of course, it's with my team, the Boston Red Sox, but they become the first team since the wild card round went into play that has won game one and lost the series. And again, when there was a pivotal moment of this series when it was 3-3 in the eighth inning, and the Red Sox left the bases loaded in the top of the eighth and got nobody across. And then the Yankees push a runner across with a 3-2, two-out bloop single down the right field line that put a runner got on before that on a two-out walk. And it was Jazz Chisholm. And the worst part is he runs like a deer so fast. He got basically a jump head start on the 3-2 pitch, and it just caroms off that little part of the stands that kind of jetties out toward that right field line, and not enough time for the Red Sox to field, set, and throw it. It was a one-hopper into the plate, and Chisholm just beats the throw of the plate, and they hang on to win 4-3. But in Game 3, I thought the Red Sox were flat. Their bats were not there. They kind of kicked it around a little bit, and it ended up they got beat 4-0. But it was just, the fact was they lost Lucas Giolito right before the series start. So you've got basically 1.5 arms for the Red Sox. You got what you got from Crochet. I mean, he was phenomenal. If that guy does not win the MVP, I'll be surprised. Then you went to Brian Bayo, and Bayo has not been what he was in the first half of the season the last 2 months. He's been awful, and he didn't make it through the third inning. And then they had to go to the rookie of Early, who literally did not come up to the team until the very 1st of September. And then, hey, by the way, you're pitching a elimination game in Yankee Stadium in your 5th start. Hang on. It's going to be a fun ride. But, as frustrating it is, it's still on the backside of that. The future is now for the Boston Red Sox. We've been hearing all of these years for the last 3-4 years for the ownership and the front office saying, wait until these rookies that we're bringing up through the system get in there and it's going to be good to go. Well, those rookies are there, and the time is now. And the big thing is that there's a couple of pieces that are still question marks. Is one, the biggest piece is at third base, is Alex Bregman. Is he going to come back? He's got a player option over the next 2 years. The other side is that who is going to play first base? Is it going to be Tristan Casas as he returns back from another injury? Are they going to try to keep Nate low? Or are they going to try to go out and hit a home run like somebody like Vlad Guerrero Jr., which I think would be phenomenal? And then they've got to go get another arm. And I think there's several teams in the major leagues that have to go do that. Cincinnati's one of those. The Reds, I think they got shell-shocked in Game 1, just the aura of being in the postseason and in Dodger Stadium was too big for the moment for them. But, they got there, okay? Then on the other side, they came out hot in Game 2, and then they couldn't maintain, and they get beat in Game 2, 8-4. But I think the Cincinnati Reds, their pitching is not terrible. I mean, obviously, you look at what they've got. If everybody's back next year, you've got Hunter Green, Chase Burns, Andrew Abbott. That's a strong right there, 1, 2, 3. And then you've still got Nick Lodolo that's there, Brady Singer that's there. Again, that's the pieces. Luttrell, who is in the mix. And again, it's all of this comes back. But I don't think the Reds are hurting with the fact of pitching. I think their pitching is there. Their bullpen was not terrible. Pagan was pretty good on the back end. He went over 30 saves on the season. The biggest thing the Reds are missing is they need a big stick in the middle of the lineup that is consistently going to go out and rake. And I think that's where they really have some question marks of what they have to do to be able to fill in that void of we need somebody who can rake. And again, you go out and you get Key Brian Hayes at third base, and he's a Gold Glover, but the guy can't hit his weight in August. And it's just that's the piece. Typically you put guys at the corners just because they can absolutely smoke the ball, and you just don't get that from Key Brian Hayes. So you have to do the trade-off. Okay, if we're going to go defensively, but we're not getting the offense off of it, We're already an offensively challenged team. How do we flip the script here? So the question becomes, again, will the Cincinnati Reds pull the trigger and actually spend some money to make this team go to that next step? They got there, and they played their behinds off with a lot of help to get into the postseason. But it doesn't matter how it works out. Everybody has to do the same thing, win and get in. Well, they got a lot of help from the New York Mets over the last month and a half of the season. The highest payroll in baseball choked it away. Almost $400 million in payroll for the New York Mets. And just completely in the crapper for nothing. And what did they do? They cleaned house. Everybody but the manager was fired earlier this week, which is interesting. Why would you fire everybody but the manager? Again, that makes no sense. That is such a New York thing to do. But either way, I think Cincinnati is right there. But again, we've seen this so many times. They get there, and then they just blow up in the offseason, do nothing, or let some guys go, and then the next season they're right back in the basement. So I think this is a pivotal year for the Reds. And if you're a Reds fan, you have to certainly be teetering on, where am I? Am I in? Am I not in? What's going on with this part? But we'll see how it plays out. All right, so here's what we've got coming up today as the first divisional round game gets going today at 2:08. This is up in Milwaukee as the Cubs and the Brewers in a battle of the National League East. Again, these went back and forth all year, but they'll get going at 2:08 today. The Cubs will throw Matthew Boyd. He's got a 14-8 record with a 3.21 ERA. Milwaukee will counter with Freddie Peralta, who closed out the regular season against the Reds, 17-6, a 2.7 ERA. At 4:08 today, up at the Rogers Center in Toronto, it's the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Luis Gil will go for the Bronx Bombers, 4-1 with a 3.32 ERA. He'll be countered by Kevin Gossman, who's 10-11 with a 3.59 ERA for the Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays pretty much own the Red Sox, or excuse me, the Yankees in the regular season. They were 6-1 against the Yankees in Toronto. So this is, again, you're playing a best-of-5 series. So the first two games are in the home team. Then you go to the divisional opponent in the games 3 and 4, and then 5 would go back to the top seed if you get to that point. So, again, it's a race to 3 games, and that first game in a series like this is so critical. At 6:30 this evening, Dodgers are in Philadelphia. Shohei Ohtani will get the start. He's 1-1 on the season, and a 2.87 ERA. He'll be countered by Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies, who was at 13-5 with a 2.5 ERA. And then tonight at 8:38, the Tigers head to Seattle, and getting the ball for the Tigers is Troy Melton. Getting the ball for Seattle is George Kirby. And, it's interesting. I kind of said this about a month and a half going into before we got into the postseason, and Seattle was still kind of on the brink of trying to get in. The Houston Astros were there in the West in the American League, and it was like, are they going to get there? Are they not going to get there? And I said, this is a team that if they get hot, they have the pitching, they've got the sticks. You look at Cal Raleigh, this guy deserves to win the MVP for the American League. Aaron Judge will probably win it. But Cal Raleigh, a catcher hitting 60 home runs, that's phenomenal. Again, a major league catcher taking fastball after fastball and all the stuff they do, most of the time by the 6th, 7th inning, they can't feel their left hand. It's just plain and simple. You just sit there and you just pound on that hand with ball after ball after ball. And for him to be able to do what he does at the plate, and he's not just hitting little bloops. He is hitting moonshot home runs. His 60th was an absolute missile. But this one's going to be an interesting matchup to see how things play out. Today, here's the teams I like. I'm going to take the Brewers at home, the Blue Jays at home. I'm going to go Dodgers taking game 1, and I'm going to take the Mariners over the Tigers. So that's the picks that I'm picking. So, again, go bet right now on your favorite app. Take my bets and just flip them, and you're probably guaranteed an instant cash for sure. We all know how things play out for me with that. Tomorrow, only 2 games on tap. It's the Yankees and the Blue Jays. The Yankees will go with Max Fried. The Toronto Blue Jays have not announced their game 2 starter for Detroit, the 8 o'clock game. Tariq Skubal and then Luis Castillo will be the 2 pitchers going for Seattle and Detroit. 4:08 in the first game with the Yankees Blue Jays, and then 8 o'clock tomorrow night for Tigers Mariners. And then on Monday, we'll go into the National League, and that'll be Dodgers Phillies at 6, and then Cubs Brewers at 9. All right, we'll take a break. We come back. We'll dive into college football. A lot of good games coming up in top 25 action, as well as the NFL. We'll break it all down. We continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Hungry for flavor that hits the spot? Red's Place in the Meade Station Plaza has been serving Ashland for 7 years, and they're just getting started. From fan-favorite stuffed mushrooms to hand-patty burgers like the Red's Loaded Burger to jumbo wings tossed in your choice of 20 sauces, you'll taste the difference every time. At Red's Place, it's more than great food. It's personalized service that makes you feel right at home. Red's Place, 8130 Route 60 in Ashland. Find them on Facebook and taste the tradition.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkeley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Kicking off your sports Saturday with Across the Line, right here on the Total Media Sports Network at 105.7 WLGC.
Back inside the Octagon on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network as we dig into college football top 25 today. We'll start first at the noon hour. The Kentucky Wildcats are in Athens against number 12 Georgia. We'll go right into countdown to kickoff coverage beginning at 10 a.m. right here on Hank FM. And right up till kickoff for the Cats. Cats 0-2 in SEC play, and their season does not get any easier. Looking at their schedule, after this weekend, they go back home against number 9 Texas. Then they have number 15 Tennessee coming to town. They go to Auburn, back home against Florida. Then they play their cupcake game against Tennessee Tech on the 15th. Then they'll close out the regular season against, at the moment, ranked number 16 Vanderbilt, and then they go to Louisville on their final game of the regular season. So it's one of those deals of, how much longer is Kentucky going to be able to hang around with Mark Stoops in an SEC of which they're just not getting any better. They took a tough loss to Ole Miss at home, then got roughed up by South Carolina, who has just predominantly had their number over the last several years. But looking at the SEC standings, Kentucky is dead last with Auburn at 0-2. You've got 5 teams right now that are Texas has yet to play a conference game. So basically you have 6 teams that are winless. Texas, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Florida, Auburn, and Kentucky, with Texas yet to play an SEC game yet. So, still some work to do there. But, I mean, you look at starting your conference season at 0-3, and then another big game coming up next week. It doesn't look good for the Cats. And you have to wonder, how much is going to be enough before Mark Stoops has shown the way out of Lexington. But we'll see how this one plays out. Again, don't forget, Kentucky played Georgia tight last year. It was a game that most thought Georgia was going to absolutely walk away with, and Kentucky pushed Georgia late. Now Georgia ended up getting the win, but it was a tough one to get away with. Number 14, Iowa State's in Cincinnati. Wisconsin heads to the Big House up in Ann Arbor against 20th ranked Michigan. 22nd ranked Illinois is in West Lafayette at Ross-Ade Stadium in Purdue. At 3:30 today, number 7 Penn State, a Big Ten matchup with UCLA out at Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. Number 9, Texas gets their first SEC matchup today. They go to the Swamp down in Gainesville against Florida. A big one today at 3:30. College Game Day is at this game, and I was actually shocked because I thought for certain that Game Day would have been down in Tallahassee with Miami and Florida State, but no. They go to Alabama and Tuscaloosa because you got 16th ranked Vanderbilt against number 10 ranked Alabama. And don't forget, Vanderbilt beat Alabama last year. Now, can Vanderbilt all of a sudden stand up and make a big statement? We will see. But if Vanderbilt wins this football game, not only are they in the conversation of one of the top teams in the SEC, the team that was the whipping post of the SEC for many, many years is now in the conversation for a place in the college football playoffs. Hands down, they're there. And again, even if they lose this game, if they stay competitive, I think this is a Vanderbilt team that's going to find themselves in the mix of the SEC and a chance to sneak in that college football playoffs. We will see. But this one's going to be a dandy. Alabama is favored by 12.5 points, though. So Vegas knows something that they feel like Alabama is pretty strong in this, but they are playing in Tuscaloosa. But we'll see how it plays. Diego Pavia has been remarkable, had a really good season last year coming in this year. He's thrown for over 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He also has a couple of rushing touchdowns as well. Boise State's in South Bend against Notre Dame. The 21st ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who, by the way, I saw an earlier publishing this week of the college football playoff predictions for the 12 teams in. Guess who was in? Yeah, Notre Dame. They're going to make the playoffs. There's just no way down about it. They do not want that fan base to miss out, and they will find a way to stick to them. They had them at number 11. USF was the group of 5 winner. They were 12th, but they had Notre Dame in at number 11, which I think is just a travesty. To say the least. Again, Notre Dame gets so much. Notre Dame will probably win out with their schedule. Here's what they've got left. Boise State, North Carolina State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. And again, they took 2 losses to 2 ranked opponents at the beginning of the year. So, and still did not drop out of the top 25, lend you. So we'll see how things play out with that. But again, Notre Dame, a heavy favorite today over the Broncos. Number 24, Virginia's in Louisville. Louisville is 6.5-point favorite, even though they are unranked, but they are 1-0 in ACC play and 4-0 on the season. Virginia getting that big win last week over Florida State. Kent State travels to number 5, Oklahoma today at 4. At 7 o'clock tonight is 11th ranked Texas Tech entertaining Houston. 7:30, a Big Ten showdown. Minnesota's up at the shoe against number 1, Ohio State. The big one tonight, number 3, Miami is in Tallahassee against 18th ranked Florida State. And at 7:30, Mississippi State travels to 6th ranked Texas A&M in an SEC showdown. One game final last night, number 23, BYU beat West Virginia 38-24. All right, one game final already, and it was a good one on Thursday Night Football in overtime. The San Francisco 49ers win over the Los Angeles Rams 26-23. Matt Stafford, despite throwing for nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, is not enough as the 49ers led it 17-7 at the break and then get the field goal winner in the extra period. At least we didn't get a tie. You know, how does the NFL allow a professional game to end in a tie? And again, there's people out there that they're going to play player safety with the overtime rules and the timing and everything. I totally get it. You know, you play the 10-minute period, and then if you're still tied, you're tied. But here's my thought. Just go to the college rules. Heck with the time period. Let's do 2 possessions, and you don't even have to start it at the 25-yard line. I mean, because, again, you're basically in a chip shot for a field goal at that point. Start it at the 35-yard line, and each team gets a chance to possess the ball unless one team scores a touchdown. And then on the other side of it, after the second overtime period, if we're still tied, then either go to 2-point conversions like they do in college, or my son came up with a great idea. Let the kickers decide it. Start it out at a 50-yard field goal. And if both kickers make it, back it up to 55. Then back it up to 60. Then back it up to 65. And just end it right there. But you cannot have a tie in professional sports, especially in today's age. You have 80 points scored, and we end in a 40-40 stalemate. That's absurd. The NFL's got to do better on that. I mean, again, you don't often see it, but it has to change. You can't end in a tie. It just doesn't work. Okay, here's what we've got. Tomorrow morning, we get our morning game from London, the Vikings and the Browns. The Browns named Dylan Gabriel their starting quarterback this week. So the Oregon product also played some ball at Oklahoma. He's going to be a big piece of this puzzle. This will be an opportunity for him to see what he can do. But he'll take over for Joe Flacco as a signal caller for the Browns, who are looking for only their second win of the season. Vikings will stay with Carson Wentz as J.J. McCarthy's still trying to get back to normal, if you will, after that sprained ankle. So, and again, J.J. McCarthy's already showing he's got health issues with the NFL. You know, the knee problem last year, he missed the entire season last year. And then a couple of games in this year and a sprained ankle, and now he's missing another game. So the longevity of J.J. McCarthy's not looking good early on in his career for the Minnesota Vikings. Raiders are in Indianapolis at the Colts. Colts a 6.5-point favorite in that game. These games are the 1 o'clock slate. Giants Saints. Jackson Dart, what a win he got last week in his rookie start with the Giants knocking off the Chargers. Would have never seen that one coming. Never. But nice win there. This is the game here. This is the toilet bowl. The Cowboys and the Jets. The Cowboys 1-2-1 now after the tie last week with the Green Bay Packers. And then the Jets are 0-4. This one's up in East Rutherford at MetLife Stadium. Cowboys are a 1.5 favorite. Over on this game is 48.5. And the only thing is I would typically say, yeah, you jump on the over every time you've got Dallas because Dallas's defense is atrocious, giving up over 400 yards a game. But I don't know that the Jets' defense can score that much. I just don't know. Are the Jets, are they offensively inept enough to do what they need to do to score 21 to 24 points? I think Dallas is going to get probably somewhere between 21 to 25 points pretty easy. It's just, can the Jets do their part to get you the over? This one's a scary game if you're playing over-unders on that one. A good one out in Philadelphia, Broncos-Eagles. Eagles 4-0. And do we have some dysfunction in the clubhouse again with A.J. Brown? Again, he put another tweet out this week, and then he said he wasn't firing a shot at Jalen Hurts. We saw this last year. He was sitting on the sidelines reading a book because he wasn't getting the ball and just trying to send a message. Well, we'll see if he gets the ball this week. But A.J. Brown has been pretty much a non-factor. And, of course, he would be. I drafted him on a fantasy football team this year, and he's just been not even there. If I've even tried to trade him away, nobody wants him. But that's saying a lot for a guy that's getting paid the money he's getting paid to stand out there on a football field. Dolphins are in Carolina, Texans, Ravens. And then an interesting thing here with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is out. He will not play. He's injured, pulled his hamstring. So I would imagine he's probably going to miss this week. Next week, they go into their bye week, and then he'll try to come back after that. The Ravens' schedule does get a lot better. But if you had the Ravens at 1-3 on this at this point of the season through 4 games, you've won on your bingo card. But this one's a tough one. They'll go with Cooper Rush will be the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens this week in the absence of Lamar Jackson. 4 o'clock games, Titans are at the Cardinals, Bucks at the Seahawks. This one will be a good one up in Seattle. Lions are in Cincinnati. Lions only a 9.5-point favorite. I think I would jump all over that one, and I think they beat the Bengals probably easily by double digits. Jared Goff and his team, they have looked the part since falling to Green Bay in the season opener. But the Bengals are just atrocious. And again, everybody's like talking about the fact it's Joe Burrow being gone. Joe Burrow's being gone, but Joe Burrow's not giving up 40 points on your defensive side. There are problems other than the missing of Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. And it's the basic fact of it is that their defense can't stop anybody. And I look for the Lions to put up some crazy numbers in this one up in Cincinnati at Paycor Stadium. Commanders are in L.A. against the Chargers. That's your final game of the afternoon of tomorrow. Then Sunday Night Football, Patriots are at the Bills. Bills an 8.5-point favorite at home as Drake May takes on Josh Allen and the undefeated Bills. Monday Night Football, the Chiefs are in Jacksonville. Chiefs a 3.5-point favorite. This one's a good matchup to see. Are the Jacksonville Jaguars for real? And this was, I've said it many times. This is the season that Trevor Lawrence has to make that next step forward of saying, hey, I really am a true, legitimate NFL quarterback. Or is it just fool's gold again? And you've got a guy that's just mediocre. So we'll see how it plays out. Patrick Mahomes, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, just under 1,000 yards on the season. But the Chiefs got a nice win last week over the ailing Baltimore Ravens. Now can they take their show on the road at 2-2, trying to get above 500 for the first time on the season? All right, let's step out for a break. We come back. It's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's as we continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Hungry for flavor that hits the spot? Red's Place in the Meade Station Plaza has been serving Ashland for 7 years, and they're just getting started. From fan-favorite stuffed mushrooms to hand-patty burgers like the Red's Loaded Burger to jumbo wings tossed in your choice of 20 sauces. You'll taste the difference every time. At Red's Place, it's more than great food. It's personalized service that makes you feel right at home. Red's Place, 8130 Route 60 in Ashland. Find them on Facebook and taste the tradition.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Fox News, I'm Paul Stevens. We could see a release soon of Israeli hostages in the Middle East as there's some movement on a White House peace plan.
Hamas officials indicating a willingness to release those 48 hostages, 20 of whom are still believed to be alive, also agreeing to hand over power to other Palestinian groups in Gaza.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv. A partial government shutdown continues in D.C.
Both sides appear to be digging further into their positions. The latest attempt to reopen the government failed again, largely along a party line vote of 54-44. Democrats remain steadfast in their push for health care concessions like the extension of those Obamacare subsidies. Republicans say they do want to deal with the issue, but first the government must reopen.
Fox's Madeline Rivera in Washington. The White House warning about layoffs. America's listening to Fox News.
More great country music from the legends coming up right after Across the Line with James Collier right here on 105.7 WLGC.
Back inside the Octagon on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. Time for the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. Borders Sporting Goods US 60 in Cannonsburg. for all your hunting and fishing needs, as well as those Liberty gun safes. Go see Brad in the game. They'll get you all taken care of. Talking of Liberty gun safes, right now it's a tax holiday sale on those Liberty safes. No tax on top of the great prices until October the 10th. You've got those just on the safes right now. But if you're looking for a great Christmas gift, they do have layaway available. But go take advantage of that no tax sale right now going on for those Liberty gun safes out at Borders. They'll get you all squared away. Well, again, a lot of things this week transpired, but the one that I kept going back to, it goes back into the Ryder Cup last weekend and some of the unruly fans throughout. And it kind of brings me to the fact of where have we gotten to where we feel like that is acceptable in society, that especially at sporting events, that because we pay for an entry fee into the event, that we can say anything and everything that's on our mind to anybody that's in the event, whether it be a player or an official. You know, how many times do you see fans at a kid's football game, baseball game, soccer, whatever? They paid their $5 to go sit in the stands, and they are just going to let this official have it. And they wonder why there is a shortage of officials in every league across the state, to where the point to where there's games having to play on Thursday night because there's not enough officials to cover everything in the area on a Friday. And even some games having to play on Saturdays because, again, you don't have enough Friday night officials. But going back to Bethpage Black and the Ryder Cup, you know, there's a difference between doing it classfully and just being totally across the line. And a lot of the fans that was cheering on for the United States, they didn't toe the line. They erased it, jumped over, did a cartwheel, and just blew the line up. But, you know, if you want to go out and heckle a professional athlete, that's one thing. There is nothing better than going to a Major League Baseball game and heckling a player for the opposing team. And doing it to the point to where you get their attention, to the point that they either give you a nod, a grin, a hat tip. But again, you don't go chasing after their families. You don't say stuff in a negative light that is going to be something about something in their family or something in their life. You don't go throw homophobic slurs out there, which happened to Rory McIlroy in the event on the Ryder Cup. And you don't throw things at people. You know, it's like we feel like that we are just so entitled in our society that, hey, I can go out and I can throw my money down and go buy my ticket, and then I'm entitled to go in there and say anything I want to about anything that you do that I don't like. And it's just not right. And, you know, it's the fact of it is, it was $750 for a basic ticket to get into the Ryder Cup. $750. And again, who do you get from that goes in there and pays the $750 for the low-end ticket? This is not the luxury ticket. This is the low-end ticket. You get your rich snobs that go in and think that they're uppity up, above everybody else, and they can do anything they want to. And again, you see this at so many sporting events to where it's these entitled people that think, I paid all this money for this ticket, I can do anything I want to. It's just not that way. I'm sorry. It needs to be stopped at some point to where enough is enough. Do it with class. Have some class about yourself. Not only that you are representing your country or your team or whatever that you're there supporting, but just have some class to represent yourself without being a complete idiot. That's the hardest part that people struggle with, is just understanding how not to be a complete idiot in the process of doing this. And that's the thing I will never get, is just people that their mouth runs 90,000 miles a minute and never slows down. That's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. Hey, one final thing real quick. A happy birthday to my wife as she celebrates number 29 today. But happy birthday. I love you very much, and hopefully have a great weekend this weekend as well. That's it for everybody. Big weekend coming up. All kinds of great sports. Enjoy the weekend. I'll be back with you next Saturday at 10 o'clock. Cats are up next. Have a good weekend, everyone. For everyone here at the Total Media Sports Network, I'm James Collier. Take care.
News and analysis from inside the octagon of sports.